Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Apostle Johnson Sullivan in the news again, and why the persistent sexual allegations against clerics, especially Christian clerics. Also, we shall be looking into the statement of the elder statesman, an eminent stakeholder of the APC and Nigeria's politics, Chief BC Akande, who roared by saying, the current APC registration and revalidation exercise is a waste of funds. So, welcome to Spectacle. I am Daniel Atai. Ensure you drop your comments using any of our platforms from which you are watching, as we dish them out live from Television Nigerian. Don't forget also that you can find details of this news from the Nigerian News online portal. The Nigerian is together. No separation. The Nigerian News online portal. Most of these news are found there. Please stay tuned. Don't go away. These two topics promises to be what? Very, very interactive.
The issue here we have to begin to look at is that at the time of independence, I don't know if there was a trajectory to where we are going to.
But how could it be that credible, free and fair under manual conduct of election?
That is where our problem lies, and that is why people are now seeing that, advising that we should move, that the world has gone into digital.
Television Nigerian is one of the leading giants in Nigeria's digital broadcasting. We deliver quality productions to clients from all sectors of life. We are experts in program streaming, event coverage, news reporting, adverts, documentaries, personality profiling, skits and jingles. You can advertise now on Television Nigerian network platforms or sponsor programs like The Patriot, Spectacle, Business Daily, Security Dossier, and other programs. To publicize your business from ground state to the zenith, we have the capacity to introduce, promote, and publicize your businesses to increase patronage. We associate with quality to attract clients like you. Television Nigerian is your media solution. For bookings, advert placements, and further inquiries, please contact 080-3071-6959 or 070-3462-5838 or 070-5432-7616 or visit us at the Guzupi Hilltop Mansion, the Television Nigerian House, on the address shown on your screen. Television Nigerian broadcasts beyond boundaries.
Welcome back. My guest analyst is Mr. Silvanus Okpe, Esquire. He is a legal practitioner and a political analyst. Mr. Silvanus, you're welcome to Spectacle.
It's a pleasure to be here, Mr. Daniel Atai.
All right. Of course, audience, you can also join us by dropping your comment, like I said. You can also call us on the numbers that will shortly be displayed on your screen in case you have anything to contribute, but be civil about it. Before we go into the preamble, Mr. Silvanus, we have two stories for our viewers today. One is on the persistent sexual allegations against clerics in Nigeria, or perhaps in Africa generally. And then we also look into the APC, the All Progressive Congress, being the ruling party in Nigeria right now, the exercise ongoing or about to start the revalidation exercise and registration of new members, Chief Bisiak and they're calling it a waste of funds. But let's start. Clerics in the Nigerian scope. Oftentimes we've heard a lot of stories from the issue of this church, Pastor Biodun, and you understand, and the allegation, sexual allegation. Several other pastors, and now Apostle Suleiman for the second time. First of all, a lady accused him at one time and then came out to say, no, it was just a mere allegation. Now, a pastor from within his church accusing him, suing him to court, that he has helped separated the family and he has been prevented from seeing his 3 kids, the wife that he married, having an extramarital affairs with Apostle Suleiman Johnson. Could you see this as mere blackmail against the cleric, and especially other clerics that you've been hearing about in the country?
Well, most of us have been persistent in often bringing up this criticism against the so-called men of God in Nigeria, who have lost all the moral basis to stand and preach to a congregation. Most of these people do not believe in God, they do not believe in salvation, but they see the work of God as a business. What they are interested in is money, tithe, offering. You hardly see preachings of salvation in Nigeria today. What is persistent, what is everywhere now, is what is called prosperity preaching. You will get money this year, you will do this, or you get married. This is why most of them, they have not really been called. They have not been anointed. Most of these men of God, they do more than this worse atrocities. They commit worse atrocities, and they go scot-free because there is this dogma that once somebody calls himself, claims to be anointed by God, nobody should say ill of the person, and it has continued to simmer the anger that is supposed to arise whenever such allegations have been alleged against men of God. But the right thing to do, just as the accuser has done, was going to court. The court will look into the matter and establish whether Apostle Suleiman is culpable or not, because it's a grievous allegation and it must be proven beyond reasonable doubt. The court must be bold enough to give judgment, thorough investigation, and arrive on a judgment that is built on the preponderance of evidence, and judgment that will stand the test of time. We want justice. If Apostle Suleiman is guilty, so be it. The court should be able to pronounce that without fear of
He too has
favor.
gone to court today and filed a counter, I think a derogatory counter motion against the man. He's one of the pastors that accused him, and then claiming a damaging defamatory fund of 5 billion as well. What do you make out of all of this? Should Christians be washing their linens before the public?
Of course, I will try my best to shy away from discussing issues that are before the court to avoid committing subjudice.
Yes.
But be that as it may, it is true that these men of God, most times what they do behind closed doors is not what they preach. In fact, today I read a story of where a daughter wrote about the mom, a pastor, who owns a church. The daughter stays in the US, calling the mother a demon. So most of these things, who called you? How did you come about owning a church? You understand, we have lost that roots of Christianity, that roots to Jesus Christ. How they come on board. Okay, if you are a pastor and somebody accuses you, drags you to court, as a man of God, You should allow the law take its course. Rushing to court to try to thwart and subvert justice is not the best. You should submit yourself to the proceedings of the court, and you have the right to be represented. Bring your lawyer, bring your own evidence countering what he has said, because decisions will be reached on the preponderance of evidence. If he is free, I am very sure that the judges will declare him they will acquit him. They will declare him not culpable.
Good.
But if he is culpable, the court will pronounce such at the end of the proceeding. But the most important thing is that Christians are not just washing their linings in the public. The scale is beginning to fall off their eyes. The scale of deception, the scale of indoctrination, the scale of dogmatism is beginning to fall off their eyes. And when it is done falling off their eyes, they will begin to see through the tricks of these so-called men of God, who are not called by anybody, but who are prompted by the love for riches. They need to acquire wealth and intimidate other members of the public. If not, how can a pastor sell stickers, thousands of naira, sell anointing oil to you, and police officers are guarding him? You have post the stickers on the doors of your house, on your own car. Stickers are protecting you, but his armed police officers are protecting him. It is in this country that pastors will build a church, a school, and no member of their church will be able to attend the school because of high tuition fee. But it is the same members that contributed to build the church. So it's insane what's happening in this country, except we Christians begin to start to see through their tricks. Except we begin to see the fact, begin to acknowledge the fact that everything is not all about prayers. Developed countries today had least churches. Now you see a church that should be converted into industry. Look at Dunamis building. Look at the one that Adeboye is building. Said he wants to build in Lagos, 20 towers. For what? These things, if you convert them into manufacturing industries and engage the youths, the problem of those people coming to church will be solved by 70%. Yeah. The number of congregants will reduce because nobody will have that time to be coming and shouting. It's good to worship God. But Nigerians go to church today because they want to be wealthy. No work. And instead of using the resources that the church gained into providing conducive environment to hatch and harness the various potentials in the church, what they do is to build flamboyant church, buy private jets and all these things that do not benefit the members. You understand? If should you put this kind of money to produce even a pure water factory, you see it's employing members of the church and it will alleviate poverty. All our prayers in this country, it will at least have 3 square meals a day. And this, God cannot do it directly from heaven. God has never done it in any country. All these developed countries. How many churches does China have? Nigeria boasts of the highest number of pastors. Yet we are the poverty headquarters of the world. This, their tricks, it has failed. It has failed. And until we begin to dismantle them, we will not have a prosperous Nigeria.
Well, until we begin to discover, not dismantle them per se, the tricks behind certain faith or proclamations, we may not have true nation. However, you talked about China, you talked about Western worlds that not they don't have those kind of mega churches Nigeria have, yet we are the poverty headquarters of the world per se. And if you look at what is happening in the faith, not only Christian clerics, but few of Islamic clerics are being accused of sexual assault or allegations like this. However, what would you think about married women, especially married women and their pastors? Do you see this belief, faith, a kind of quote, that they have much in their pastors as if, like in God, faith towards God and faith towards your pastor. Do you see that the weakness of women are the things that, kind of always put them in this kind of situation? Though this is an allegation, we have other examples where ladies, married women, often fall prey to these men of God.
Well, that is the biggest problem in Christianity today. People have forgotten to go to God directly. They see pastors as the only medium through which God can answer their prayers. And most of these people are overrated. We have forgotten that even in the Bible, God said, close your door and pray. He will listen to you. Don't pray like a Pharisee that will want to pray, open door, shout. God is everywhere. We can kneel down in our houses and pray, and God will answer our prayers. But the way these pastors are making it, they are making it seem as if your prayers can only be answered if it comes through them.
But don't forget that these pastors don't even invite sometimes they don't invite the women or men to the church.
Yes.
They took themselves there.
And again, what the women are looking for is miracle. No matter where you get your power from, if you perform 2 miracles here today, you will have to pack things from this today and convert it to a church. And women, married women, will worship you like God. They will respect you more than their husbands. I've had a reverend father who was preaching in the church and told the story of how a woman brought food to him in the morning, and he said, have you served your husband food? The woman said no, and he was disappointed. He urged the woman to take that food back to the husband. You must serve your husband first before you serve me. These are the kind of preachings that should be encouraged in our churches today, because it has degenerated to a situation where husbands are no longer relevant in marriages, particularly when such woman, wife, is dedicated to the things of her church, not the things of God. Because God even preached submission in marriage on the part of women. And these things are being eroded today because of the kind of flamboyant pastors that come up and that preach only prosperity, and that there are no guarantees that they were called.
All right. Going to the second story, making the rounds in the country right now, Chief Bisi Akande of the All Progressive Congress have, roared yesterday by saying that the party's registration exercise and the revalidation as well of members is a waste of funds from the coffer. Do you see that statement as insightful against his own party?
Well, what you might not, many Nigerians will not appreciate is that the squabble for the soul of the party ahead of the 2023 elections has started.
Okay.
And the camp of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the national leader of the party, in which Bisi Akande holds a high position, perceives this registration as a strategy to make Tinubu, to whittle down Tinubu's relevance in the party ahead of the 2023 presidential elections, in which the parameters on ground are clear, the signs are clear even to the blind, that the former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is contesting the presidential election in 2023. So Bisi Akande's statement is just like the voice of Jacob and the hand of Esau. We know where it is coming. It is coming from Babylon. And it is all boiling down to the squabble for 2023 presidential elections. President Muhammad Buhari's tenure is finishing, and there will be fresh primaries. Everybody is scheming. Everybody is scheming on how to, control a large portion of the party before the elections, because it will prove potent during the primary.
Apostle Sulaiman to pay 2 billion naira over unlawful interference in pastor's marriage. The General Overseer of the Omega Fire Ministries International, Apostle Johnson Suleiman, has been sued for 2 billion naira over unlawfully interfering in a marriage. A former pastor of the church, Mike Davids, had last week accused Apostle Suleiman of hypnotizing and committing adultery with his wife, Pastor Faith Edeko, who now heads the Utako Abuja branch of the church. Alleging threat to life, Davids had written a petition to the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, who had in turn ordered a probe into the matter. On Thursday, however, Davids filed an action in Pet/041/2021 before the court, accusing Apostle Suleiman of destroying his home and preventing him from seeing his 3 children. In the petition for a decree of restitution of conjugal rights, the petitioner stated that he married his wife pursuant to Section 24 of the Marriage Act at St. Andrew's Cathedral, Epoma, on December 6, 2008, by virtue of which only a high court can annul. Among other reliefs, Davids in his seeking an order of perpetual injunction restraining Apostle Suleiman, the church and their agents from gaining access or relating with his wife and 3 children. He is also seeking an award of punitive and exemplary damages in the sum of 2 billion naira against the defendants for unlawful interference with the claimant's contract of marriage, and the cause of 2 million being the cause of prosecuting this action before this honorable court. Both Apostle Suleiman and Pastor Edeko have denied David's allegations.
I am your host, Daniel Atai.
All Progressive Congress registration exercise waste of funds, Akande said. The pioneer national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Chief B.C. Akande, on Wednesday described the ongoing registration and revalidation exercise in the party as unnecessary and a waste of funds. Akande, who stated this in a chat with journalists at the registration center in Ila Oragun, Osun State, stressed that the exercise, which is taking place less than 10 years after the APC registration, is an aberration. He also faulted the creation of a national caretaker committee for the ruling party. The ex-Osun State governor stressed that in normal circumstances, a caretaker executive committee for a political party was an abnormality if not carefully controlled and expeditiously managed. In a letter to the chairman of the APC Caretaker Committee, Malamai Boni, Falake called for the postponement of the exercise. He argued that it would be counterproductive if APC goes ahead with the process. To others, however, the exercise was a subtle way by some forces in the APC to whittle down the ex-Lagos governor's influence in the party. Akande said, the major perception is that APC leadership might be wasteful and unappreciative of the proper use of money in a kind of scanty economy in which Nigeria now finds itself. These seeming ugly perceptions put into abeyance the applause of the 2 national election successes that the original APC register enjoyed since its completion on the 15th February 2014, and the over 1 billion of 2014's value that the original register cost when APC had no money of its own. While thanking you all, my APC leaders and its delegation that now come to honor me today, I want to emphasize and warn that the next national election that will elect its successor to President Muhammadu Buhari is going to be the most important test of the ongoing APC membership registrations and whatever structure being envisaged to be imposed on it. It is my advice and prayer, therefore, that every sense of responsibility should be selflessly employed to make these efforts ultimately result in success for our APC. You from Spectacle Today on Television Nigerian, and we believe you enjoyed them. However, the lines will be displayed on the screen for you to contribute your quota, but for the benefit of those who are vision impaired, you can call us on this WhatsApp line, or you can drop your message on 081-3701-5949, 081-3701-5949. Mr. Silvanus Okwe Esquire is still doing justice while we wait for your own contributions. Mr. Silvanus.
Yes.
Talking faith, oftentimes the women we keep at home as wives, they're very, very religious. And like you rightly said, like quoting a father, a reverend father who said, "Have you given this food to your husband before serving me?" Most of these women, due to their religious nature, often find solace from their pastors. And the pastors in turn usually give them help. Could it be misunderstood that help now been tagged sexual allegation in the case of Apostle Suleiman?
This is why it is always good to...
Don't forget that this lady in question is a pastor, too, in the church.
This is why it's always good to carry out a thorough investigation.
Yes.
But it is not unusual. Pastors are doing it, having sexual intercourse with people's wives, committing adultery, fornicating. We have seen the cases. It's everywhere. I've seen pastors being exposed. The issue is that our women we must apply sense while, approaching religious matters. You don't just need to block your heart. You don't need to be dogmatic in your beliefs. Have your belief, but have your sense intact too. Most of them believe these pastors to the extent that if the pastor tells them that it is only through having sexual intercourse with you that your problems will be solved, they will willingly do it. They will see it as instruction from God.
And even keeping frequent vigils.
Yes, this is it. Okay, you leave your husband's house every night, you go to a pastor's house, you stay, you spend to a church without his consent. This is an abnormality. It doesn't happen anywhere. If it must happen sometimes, you go with your husband. It's not all the time you go to church, you sleep over. What happens there? This opens up ground for investigation, ground for suspicion from the husband.
Yeah, you did mention areas like Nigerian have mega churches, and people are still trying to build mega capacity of churches, church auditoriums, because the church itself is the person that confesses faith towards God and practice it. Comparing the number of churches and religious activities we have in the country and godliness, when you place them side by side, what is the inequality you could deduce from it?
From the churches, we have mega churches, but those persons who are administering those churches, are they close to God? There is a disparity between what is written in the Bible and what they practice. So the church is just a mere show off. And I've said it before, that these churches are misplaced priorities. Most of the problem, reason why Nigerians flood these churches is because of hunger and poverty. And the money that is used to build these mega churches,
yes.
The money that is used to build these mega churches will take 70% of the congregants out of poverty if you build industries that will engage them directly. You see that 80% of our prayer points is about poverty. Give me money, give me this. And if you look at countries,
also about husband
and
also
poverty.
Also about job.
Okay, you are praying for husband. The men who are of age to marry, they have nothing doing. And the churches are building mega churches instead of building industries that will engage these men and who will in turn come back to marry church sisters. So the only problem was Nigerians must shift a little bit from their religious dogma. We must start approaching sciences. We must start knowing that it is not all the problems in life that churches solve. You worship God who created you, who created everything out of nothing. But you must as well seek ways in solving problems of the society.
Could it be that motivations, most of these men of God are motivational speakers now. Could it be that they go to church to stir up, or they go closer to these pastors to stir up their faith in terms of motivational words? I've seen a situation in Benue of recent where a pastor, a prophet was being humiliated outside because they found charms, different kind of charms from the pulpit where he stands to preach. Could that also be part of ungodliness? Or could we say, the Bible say, thou shalt not criticize my prophet and do my prophet no harm? Does that extend to that warning from God?
It doesn't. If men of God make mistakes, it behoves on faithful congregants to tell them, see, you are doing it the wrong way.
Just like when the government make mistakes, we correct them.
So most of these men of God are not even called, most of these so-called men of God, they are not even called by God. One of my friend will always say we are not even flashed. Not to talk of being called by God. So which God are we offending by saying the truth? If you are called by God, what is that you see in another man's wife? When it is clearly written, do not covet your neighbor's wife.
Yes.
What is it that you see in church sisters? People you are supposed to teach the tenets of purity, which Jesus Christ instituted when he was here with us. So these are the core teachings of the Bible. But now they no longer teach salvation because it will even spoil their business. Their business of swindling us of our hard-earned money, their business of luring our young ladies, their business of snatching wives.
Okay, for instance, if a husband is not taking care of his wife and his children, and the wife chooses to go and live with the pastor or seek help from the pastor, could we say that is wrong? If a husband is unable to care for his family, they say temptation, thou shalt not tempt, and thou shalt not also fall into temptation. In this case now, a wife leaves her matrimonial home in a quest for solace from men of God or prophet or whatever, and then on the process, the husband could misunderstand the wife to say that, you left the home just because you want to have an affair with a pastor. That too is an angle that we could look into.
That is why there must be a convergence. There must be a consensus, an agreement, an understanding between the husband and the wife. If your wife is worshiping, let it be approved by the two. Let the two say that, okay, this is the church we are using. Okay, this is where you want to worship. This is where I worship. Let there be understanding. Be transparent as a wife. If you have nothing doing, even your husband will understand, or God will fight your cause. Because I don't see where you open up to your husband knows everything in and out. There are shady moves that prompt suspicion. If you don't engage in them, why will someone suspect you? Like this pastor, for a pastor in the church of Pastor Suleiman to raise this alarm, he had stomach pits for so long. He had endured it for long. There was nothing he could have done again but to burst open and speak up. And I'm glad that he has gone through he had recourse to the due process of the law by approaching the court. The only thing we are praying is that at the end, justice should be done to the matter. There should be thorough investigation. It should be judgment should be reached on preponderance of evidence, and justice should not just be done, but should be manifestly seen to have been done in the case. This will serve as a stern warning to men of God that people are watching. Nigerians, the scale is falling down. We are beginning to see through your tricks. We are beginning to see through your deception. We are beginning to see that what we are bringing is not salvation, but destruction. Like this man is alleging that his home has been destroyed, while the Bible made it clear that what God has put together in matrimony, let no man put asunder. It is wrong that a man of God, a man who stands in for God, is the one to destroy home.
Like in the case of Pastor Abiodun, it was the opposite. But you saw that Timmy stood by the wife. And I think they are off this temptation and the trial. So many examples abound across the nation. One a pastor from Lagos, they said in Celestial Church, raped how many sisters?
There are many.
Impregnated 3 sisters from the same family. Another one took the wife of the member, impregnated her, and so many instances. So what do you make of these persistent allegations, accusations, and fact findings against men of God? What is happening in the Christendom, especially in Africa?
One is the gullibility of Christians in Nigeria and in Africa. In a case where a girl was raped in Delta, allegedly raped in Delta by a man of God, she told the police officers investigating the matter that it was the father that always sent her to the pastor to go and undergo deliverance. This is how they do it. They will just come to a family.
Deliverance from ancestral
deliverance from spirit, that you are marine spirit, you are mermaid. I've had instances of that. Where pastors will come and tell you, this your daughter needs deliverance, special deliverance. Coming to his house in the midnight, and you see the parents, accepting and even being the one to force the child to the pastor. And the pastor ends up raping and having them pregnant. So until we begin, I said it, we must not be too religious to be good Christians. We must not be too religious to be good Christians.
We must practice godliness.
Godliness, you must be able to see through the tricks of these men of God. You must not, they are not God. We must tell ourselves that they are not God. That is the truth. You must not do everything they propose.
All right.
They will not tell you that your wife needs to spend 3 days at their home for she to be cleansed, for her to start having babies, and you accept. That is insanity.
And we will move to Akande immediately after this commercial break. Stay glued to your television. Don't go away, because you will understand what is really going on in the APC exercise, registration exercise, and revalidation. Stay tuned.
Television Nigerian is one of the leading giants in Nigeria's digital broadcasting. We deliver quality productions to clients from all sectors of life. We are experts in program streaming, event coverage, news reporting, adverts, documentaries, personality profiling, skits, and jingles. You can advertise now on Television Nigerian network platforms or sponsor programs like The Patriot, Spectacle, Business Daily, Security Dossier, and other programs. To publicize your business from ground state to the zenith, we have the capacity to introduce, promote, and publicize your businesses to increase patronage. We associate with quality to attract clients like you. Television Nigerian is your media solution. For bookings, advert placements, and further inquiries, please contact 080-3071-6959 or 070-3462-5838 or 070-5432-7616 or visit us at the Guzupi Hilltop Mansion, the Television Nigerian House on the address showing on your screen. Television Nigerian, broadcasts beyond boundaries.
Welcome back. Now we'll go to that story little about that story, not more, about what Akande said, that the APC registration exercise and revalidation is a waste of funds. And Silvanus Okwe Esquire is still in the studio. You can now begin to drop your comments or call in to give your own perception as regard that statement. Could Akande be alleging that APC is wasting time or playing the politics of a faction against the Southwest, according to his allegation, or not? What is your take on that statement? I think there is a caller calling in. I don't know whether. Hello? Are you calling to contribute? Yes, hello. What is your take on the statement made by Akande that APC registration and revalidation is a waste of fund? You have anything to say about it? Your name and where you are calling from? It's okay. All right, Mr. Silvanus, he said he's not calling for interview. What do you make of that statement? You have just said that Bola Tinubu, he is one of the diehard in the structure of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the leader of the APC at the national level.
Okay, let me take it from the genesis.
Yes.
While problems keep persisting from John Odige Oyegun to Comrade Adams Oshobole to this, because in that statement, if you read it carefully, you see we are kind of made mention of this caretaker committee, extraordinary executive and caretaker committee, urged the committee to resist the temptation of staying longer than necessary. He also made that statement. Then when you look at all these things, you see that APC has not been able to harmonize the divergent interests that come together for the purposes of removing the PDP from power in 2015. APC did not discuss or agree on how to partition this power when they finally clinch it. They only came together, okay, let's win. When we win, we now discuss how to share it, and they won. Problem of sharing of this power, this spoils of victory, has been the problem of the party since they assumed the leadership position at the center in the country. And it has been further heightened by the kind of the president we have. A man who believes in party supremacy, a man who many accuse him of not being a party man, not being at the helm of affairs, not being in control of what is happening. But this is the best, what is the right thing to be obtained in a democracy, in party politics. Party is different from leaders. Though leaders, products of the party, must, from time to time, ensure that the party is at peace by mediating, ensuring that there is peace, there is unity within the party. But the first person Buhari is the first president, aside President Shehu Shagari, who is giving party the hand to run her own affairs, who recognizes the fact that he's a mere product of the party and not in the leadership of the party. Shagari did it during the time of MPN when Adis Akinloye was the national chairman of the party. That was 1973 to 1983. And then the statement by Akande yesterday, aside being part of this scramble for 2023, for the soul of the party in 2023, it also boils down to interest. The party, there are divergent interests in the APC today. And the visit to Jonathan by some governors of the party has also heightened the fears that Tinubu might not get the ticket in 2023.
Okay,
it has unsettled many. The entry of the party by Umai, a governor that you cannot take for granted. Umai is a politician that became governor against the wishes of his boss. He was deputy governor to Martin Elechi, and he became governor. It's not just that. Umai is close to the president. Jonathan is now romancing with governors of the party. So it calls for concern. And Tinubu has been in control of this registration platform. He's in control in Lagos. If you see the committees that were set up, he had no influence. He was not consulted. Tinubu's camp had only one person in the Lagos branch of the committee for revalidation and the registration exercise. Only one person.
So that
is close to Tinubu. So not that Tinubu nominated the person.
Could you say it's a northern scheme or just factional scheme?
That is why I said from the beginning that there are many interests in the APC. Every interest is scheming. You cannot say it's northern. That is the problem with Nigeria, ethnic profiling, regional profiling. Well, let's say that is party politics. You play your game. You do everything necessary to be in control of the structure. Yeah. That is what gives you victory in the primaries. And what Tinubu should have done, Tinubu is too quiet for my liking. But don't underestimate Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have heard since 2015, every time they will say they are fighting Tinubu, but he has remained. He has always come out victorious. He's dauntless, he's courageous, he has grit, he has strength, and he's the greatest tactician in Africa.
What would you advise? Yeah, what would you advise?
My advice is that
the APC, but you as a person, I believe you don't see the exercise as a waste of funds.
It is not. It is not. This register is the highest, the most valued asset of the party. Membership. And remember that a lot of persons, since the APC was registered last in 2014 or so, has entered the party, and a lot of persons has left. People left with a lot of members and supporters. So it is good that they obtain and have a register that defines true membership of the party.
Yes.
Like say now, somebody like Rabi Musa Kwankwaso left in Kano with thousands of persons.
Yes.
Somebody like Rabi Suleiman Bichi, his then henchman, went back to the party last year with a lot of persons. Yeah. So it's always good to update and revalidate party membership. It is the most valued asset of the party.
Thank you.
But the party should harmonize. There are divergent interests, and for them to be strong ahead of the election, they must harmonize. The caretaker committee should heed the second advice of Akande. It must resist the temptation of staying longer than necessary.
Well, while that is being played out in the All Progressive Congress, we have given you what we know. We also understand that the caretaker chairman, Malamai Boni, the governor of Yobe State, he has replied Chief Akande already, saying that it is constitutional for the caretaker committee to orchestrate the party's blueprint in such a way that the party will be on throne, perhaps beyond 2023. This is where Spectacle will stop today on Television Nigerian. Silvanus, I thank you for coming into the program today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Do well to follow us on our social media platforms. Drop your messages, and we are also open for advertorials. We will beat the reach of media for you. That is our duty and what we can do to make you happy. See you tomorrow again with another episode. I have been Daniel Atai.
Television Nigerian is one of the leading giants in Nigeria's digital broadcasting. We deliver quality productions to clients from all sectors of life. We are experts in program streaming, event coverage, news reporting, adverts, documentaries, personality profiling, skits, and jingles. You can advertise now on Television Nigerian network platforms or sponsor programs like The Patriot, Spectacle, Business Daily, Security Dossier, and other programs. To publicize your business from ground state to the zenith, we have the capacity to introduce, promote, and publicize your businesses to increase patronage. We associate with quality to attract clients like you. Television Nigerian is your media solution for bookings, advert placements, and further inquiries. please contact 080-3071-6959 or 070-3462-5838 or 070-5432-7616 or visit us at the Guzupi Hilltop Mansion, the Television Nigerian House, on the address showing on your screen. Television Nigerian, broadcast beyond boundaries.